Simple A-roll track, voiceover, talking head, that sort of thing, with B-roll, cutaways, shots for context. It's the editor's bread and butter, but there are actually a few different workflows that you can do to get this type of edit done quickly and efficiently in Davinci Resolve. Now they're all pretty simple, but some of them are actually easy to miss. So let me show you. And if you want to follow along, you can actually download the exact same media, the exact same project that I'm using for yourself. Simply head to the link down in the description below. And while you're there, you should also check out Heart Support. This actual project is a collaboration between me and some of the other Davinci Resolve creators here on YouTube, as we're making a quick video to go on the Heart Support's homepage. Who are Heart Support? Well, Heart Support brings people together through the power of music and aims to give people the opportunity to talk about their mental health, which, as we all know, can help change lives. So please do consider donating to Heart Support to help their cause by clicking on the fundraising link down below. Right, first up, this is more of a general tip, but it's absolutely worth mentioning. Make folders, or bins as they're called in Davinci Resolve. You can either do this really simply by right-clicking within the media pool and you've got the option to create a new bin. But alternatively, what I like to do, I've got the Heart Support media all downloaded here. We've got a main Heart Support folder, and generate all the footage was kind of just in here. What I've done is created some folders within Windows itself, or if you're in iOS or whatever. And then what we can do, we can simply grab the Heart Support folder, this main one, drop it over here in the media pool, and what that will do is import that same folder structure with all of our files, which just helps us to stay more organized. Side note, no, this won't actually link everything together. So if you make changes on Windows or whatever, that folder structure won't update within Davinci Resolve. But again, it's just handy to help you stay organized. Now for this project, we've got a simple voiceover, which is going to be our main sort of A-roll track. There are a few different ways that you can cut this up, whether it's a video, a talking head, or it's just a simple voiceover like this. There's actually about 3 different ways that I can think of. If you're using Davinci Resolve Studio, there is the option to cut this up using audio transcriptions, which is a process I really like. If you right click on your talking head video, or in my case, the WAV, the WAV, this voiceover, we go to audio transcription and then we can simply hit transcribe. And what Davinci Resolve will do, will play through all of that track in the background and it will listen to the dialogue and then give us a transcription, just like this. And this is super handy because I've got a rough script. I know what this voiceover is going to say, and I also want to get rid of all of the gaps. In the top right-hand corner, there's this icon, and this will simply delete the gaps. So if there's long gaps, there's long empty spaces, we can get rid of all of those in one big go. At the beginning here, we say take 2, so I know I don't want that, so I can just highlight it, hit delete, and it'll put a little cross through it so we know that's been deleted. And then if we just make our way through this project, there's a part down here where I believe we repeat ourselves. We bring together through the power of music, we bring people together through the power of music. So I don't need this first take. So again, we can just highlight all the bits we don't want, hit delete on our keyboard to get rid of them. And then when we're happy, if we just highlight everything with a Control and A, and then down here, we have the buttons we can use to actually insert this onto our timeline. So I'm just going to hit insert, and it's just going to drop all of that onto our timeline with all of the empty spaces removed and any of the bits that I deleted taken out as well. And if you're on Davinci Resolve 19, what you can also do then is click this icon, top left-hand corner, to switch to the timeline transcription. So if I need to make any further amendments to this, or if I'm not quite happy with how this voiceover is going, or the talking head, or whatever it may be, we can continue to make any changes. For example, I want to get rid of this line here, so we can just highlight this and hit delete. And as you can see on the timeline directly, it's just got rid of that completely. Again, we can click this icon to close any spaces, and that's just a super cool, quick, efficient way of doing interviews or A-roll or voiceovers or anything like that. But as mentioned, it is limited to the studio version. So what can you do if you're on the free version of Davinci Resolve? Well, you can't do anything quite as smart as the transcriptions, but there are 2 other ways that you can do this pretty quickly. The first one, pretty obvious. You can just grab this video or audio in this case, put it on your timeline, and then you can cut it up directly on your timeline. But there is a keyboard shortcut that I highly recommend that you change. I recommend it so much, I actually made a dedicated video talking all about it. It's the start and end ripple delete. I've assigned them to 1, 2, and 3. And what that means is when this is on my timeline, I can hit my number 2 key and it will do a simple cut. And then if I want to get rid of this section here, for example, I can hit number 1 and it won't just make a cut, it'll also close that gap. So then you can really quickly go through making cuts, closing sections without having to do multiple clicks. You can do it all in one big go. The alternative way is you can actually build your timeline up using the source viewer, and I've got a handy keyboard shortcut for that as well. So what I mean by the source viewer is I've got nothing on my timeline at the moment. If I double click on this voiceover, it will open this up in this kind of preview window, and we can have a listen to it, and we can actually then pick the bits that we want to put on our timeline. Now this is using ins and outs, which by default are assigned to the I and O keys on our keyboard. So all we would do would hit I to mark an in, go to the point where we want to end, so I'm going to hit O, and then I can click and drag, and we're just going to import that marked section onto our timeline. If we then hit the Q key simply jumps between the timeline and the source viewer. So then we can just jump back in, find another section, drag it onto our timeline, or we could use the F9 key, for example, which is insert, or you could use these small little icons here underneath your preview window. We'll hit Q to go back, and then you can just go back and forth building up this timeline. However, what I like to do, I keep the I and the O keys there because they're easy to remember, but I also then assign ins and out to W and E. So I use Q, W, and E to do jump back and forth between the source viewers, and then W and E to mark my ins and outs. And then when I'm actually working on the timeline, I just move my fingers up a tiny bit, same 3 fingers, and now I'm using 1, 2, and 3 to do my cuts and my ripples. It's a super quick, easy way to work without even really having to move your left hand. To save you the hassle of doing that, I've actually exported my keyboard layout, which only has those 2 changes, but you can just import that directly back into Davinci Resolve just to save you from having to set it up for yourself. And there's your A roll done. Now, once it is done, what I recommend that you do is to lock it in. So then you can't accidentally overwrite anything or shift it or break all of that hard work you've just done. It's dead simple. Whichever track you're looking to lock, whether it's video, audio, both, whatever it may be, you simply shoot over here to the left-hand side of the timeline. There's a little padlock. You give it a click. And now I can't do anything to any of this. I can't delete it. I can't move it. I can't do anything at all. So I know it's locked and it will stay there. And then I can just start to build up my B-roll on top. Which leads us nicely to the B-roll, the additional footage, the footage you're laying on top to give your video some context. Now, sorting through the B-roll can be a bit of a faff, especially if there's tons of it. But there is an easier way. Rather than individually clicking on the clips and looking to see what they are, you can dump all of your footage onto a single timeline. So then you can just hop back and forth between your main and your B-roll timeline, grabbing the things you want and moving it to your main timeline in a jiffy. Now there's actually a built-in way to do this directly in Davinci Resolve. It's called the source tape. That's on the cut page. But if you don't want to do that, you can kind of make your own version on the edit page. So let me show you how. Let's do it the proper way first. So I'm going to jump over to the cut page. Now what we're going to do is drill into our B-roll folder. Now we can either do this directly within this main B-roll folder, or we can drill into the individual folders. So from here is click on this icon just above our preview window. And what this is going to do, because we're in that main B-roll folder, it's sorted this out into festival and person, but it's put all of the clips on one big timeline. So it's dead easy to access, dead easy to see what we're working with, and then we can just put this onto our timeline. As we scrub through this big timeline, you can see it is automatically selecting the clips from the left-hand side. It's also worth noting that if you click on this icon here, you can actually change the sort order. So I've got it in bins because I created bins, I created these folders. If you didn't, you could change it to be by camera, and then it will just sort it out by camera for you. And as you change these folders, it will also change the actual order they appear within this source tape. So I'm going to go back to bin. Now, once again, that QWE shortcut is perfect for this. So if I hit Q, I go to the timeline, and if I hit Q again, we go back to the source tape. So I can scrub through, and let's say I want this clip from here. to the end. I can even actually go over to this second clip. So let's say I want both of those. I only want the video, not the audio. So on the left-hand side here, there's these two little icons. I can go video only, audio only. So I'm going to go video only. And then once again, I can either use my F keyboard shortcuts. I can use these icons here. I like to just click and drag. So I'm going to click, drag, put this on my timeline, and off we go. And then we can just start to build up our timeline. I hit Q to go back to my source tape. I find some more B-roll that I like. W, E, click, drag, and off we go. The source tape is a really, really handy little feature, and it's often overlooked. Sometimes it's because people just don't like working on the cut page, which I guess is fair enough. If that's you, then you can make this for yourself just using an additional timeline on the edit page instead. So from the edit page, I'm just going to create a new timeline. So I'm going to right click within my media pool, create a new timeline. This can just be called B-roll. Doesn't matter all that much. There we go. And then I can open my folders and grab my footage. So I can grab all of this footage, put this on the timeline like so. Let's just go back to my person. We'll grab all of this as well. I could have just added only the video, but what I'm going to do, hold Alt on my keyboard, I can select all the audio and just get rid of it because I'm not going to need that. So now I've got this second timeline full of all my B-roll. If we click on this icon here, this will open up this menu. We're going to click on the top one, display stacked timelines, and that will give us this little drop down. We don't need to use that at the minute. Instead, what we do is click this icon on the right-hand side to give us a second timeline option. So now we've got these two timelines. If I use this drop down here, select timeline, timeline 1, I've got my main timeline with all of my audio, my voiceover, my A-roll, whatever's going on. And then I've got all of this B-roll here. And once again, we can just go through, grab the footage, bring it down. We can kind of trim the footage within this timeline. You can't use the ins and outs or the QWE like we would before, but you can simply just trim this footage down and then grab it and put it wherever you like on your main timeline. And it's a nice quick way of just having access to everything you need so you can move back and forth in a jiffy. Build up your timeline, trim it, make it nice and neat, and then you'll have your A-roll, B-roll kind of edit done in no time at all. And it's as easy as that. Now I'm going to finish up this edit and then I'm going to pass this over to the good old Patrick Sterling, who's going to do the next bit of this project. So if you want to actually see the finished output, make sure to go check out Patrick and have a look at his upcoming video. And don't forget, check out the link down in the description below if you feel like checking out and supporting a worthy cause. Thanks for watching. Take it easy. I'll see you next time.